When Einar returned to the island, he found only chaos. The ground itself was giving way, swallowing buildings whole, pulling them down into the earth. The air was thick with a black fog that spread like a living disease, suffocating everything in its path. People, his people, were nowhere to be seen. Hidden away in their homes, paralyzed by fear. At the very center of the village, a sight of pure nightmare unfolded. The Nakalavi stood there, a monstrous fusion of horse and rider, fleshless and horrifying. It wasn't just standing, it was roaring at the sky, a guttural, world-ending sound, as if it were summoning the death of everything. Einar didn't hesitate. He took a single step forward, his boot crunching on the fractured ground. That one sound was enough. The demon noticed him instantly. Its head, a grotesque human torso fused to the horse's back, swiveled. Its single, burning eye narrowed, focusing on him with an intensity that felt like a physical blow. The creature's entire body seemed to pulse with an ancient, bottomless hatred. It let out another roar, this one filled with fury and charged. For a creature so massive, its speed was monstrous, unnatural. It closed the distance in a heartbeat, the ground shaking with every thunderous hoofbeat. But this time, Einar was ready. He stood his ground, calm amidst the storm. A faint light began to emanate from his chest. The Guardian's mark, a swirling tattoo he'd carried since birth, started to glow with an ethereal blue light, pulsing in time with his own heart. As the Nakalavi lunged, the light erupted from him, summoning the raw power of the Guardian spirit. A spectral weapon began to form in his outstretched hand, woven from pure ocean light and solidified sea foam. It took the shape of a harpoon, ancient and powerful, its tip sharper than any mortal steel. The Nakalavi screamed, a sound of pure rage and pain, and the very ground around it shattered, throwing rocks and soil into the air. The two forces, one of darkness and decay, the other of light and the sea, were about to collide. It was a clash of ancient powers, a battle for the soul of the island. Einar, empowered and resolute, met the charge head-on. The demon opened its grotesque mouth, unleashing a torrent of black, toxic breath, a plague-filled cloud that withered everything it touched. Einar was faster. He dodged, weaving under the deadly plume of gas, the air burning his lungs even from a distance. He used the momentum to pivot, bringing the glowing harpoon around in a powerful arc. He aimed for the one place he knew would be vulnerable, the heart of the monstrous rider torso. He struck. The harpoon of light pierced through its corrupted flesh, sinking deep into the demon's chest. There was no sound of impact, only a flash of blinding light followed by a deafening silence. Then, an explosion. Black energy erupted from the wound like a dying star going supernova. The Nakalavi writhed, its body convulsing violently. The scream it let out this time was not of rage, but of pure, unadulterated agony. Its physical form began to destabilize, dissolving into a chaotic mix of black mist and churning seawater. The monstrous shape twisted and contorted, its roars becoming gurgles as it was unmade, pulled back into the primordial elements from which it was spawned. But the victory came at a great cost. As the last vestiges of the demon dissipated, Einar fell to his knees, the spectral harpoon dissolving from his grasp. A profound weakness washed over him, a cold emptiness that settled deep in his bones. He felt his life force draining away, poured into that one final, decisive blow. As his vision blurred and the world began to fade, a voice echoed in his mind, not of this world, but from the depths of the ocean itself. It was the Guardian's voice, calm and ancient. "You chose sacrifice," it whispered, "and in doing so, you have saved your people." With the demon's final dissolution, the black fog receded. The sky, once a bruised purple, cleared to a brilliant, hopeful blue. The oppressive weight that had crushed the island was lifted, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, the island breathed again. The sun warmed the damp earth, and slowly, cautiously, doors began to creak open. Einar survived. He was found there, kneeling in the center of the village, weak but alive. He would recover his strength, but he would forever carry the mark of the sea. No longer a faint tattoo, but a glowing, living sigil upon his chest. And so, the legend of the Nucalavi, the terrifying tale whispered to frightened children, became history. It was a story of a time of darkness, and of the hero who brought back the light. The island healed, its people rebuilt, and life returned to a peaceful rhythm, governed by the tides. But some nights, when the moon is hidden and a strange mist crawls inland from the shore, when the waves tremble with an unusual restlessness, the villagers still look towards the sea with a flicker of old fear. They gather close to their fires and whisper the question that hangs in the salty air. What if the demon is not truly gone? What if it's just waiting? Because the sea never forgets. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into myth and legend. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the edge of the world. Let me know in the comments what other myths you'd love to see brought to life. Until next time, stay curious.